Welcome everyone to Buying Local. I'm your host, Mike Nelson from 5 Towers Media. Joined today by Dave Borland from, it's EOS, but
Yeah.
do you have like a local name?
Yeah, my local name is Grow Exceptional.
Grow Exceptional.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be Growing Exceptionally, but that's too long.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Put that in a web address or an email address. Everybody gets mad at you.
That's right.
Could you find a longer one?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So Dave, you've been in the business community locally for a long time now.
Yeah.
So why don't we, before we get into the EOS stuff, which for people that don't know about EOS, it's huge. Tell us who you are.
Yeah.
Tell us about the background.
Yeah. So I grew up in Lake Placid.
Oh,
And
did you really?
Yeah. So I thought, you know what? I'm getting out of here. So I went to Clarkson, which is even closer to the Canadian border because I didn't like the cold. So I went colder.
More north.
More north and flatter. And then I said that after college, I'm going south. It's far south as I can go. Apparently, that's Albany, New York. That's it.
Really moving to those warmer climates. Dave, I swear.
Yeah. You know what, though? Ironically, it's an extra week or two of not winter at the end of each. So it's an extra month of not winter.
That's true.
Bonus. So anyway, that's so at 26, after failing miserably at working for someone several times.
Several times, yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard. You hear this from entrepreneurs all the time. They can't work for someone else.
I call it unemployable.
That's right.
I am unemployable because I'm the same thing. I'm a terrible employee.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Right? I felt like a horrible person. Anyway, just my first business was 26.
Okay.
And so I've been in business, constantly learning. So I've had 4, not including what I do now, not some real estate stuff I do now, which are also businesses. But the first 4 had people, lots of more
Employees.
Yeah, more issues and struggles, people, all that drama.
I know I met you in the burst marketing days.
That's right. Yeah. We were doing marketing. We had merged a company to get that burst marketing. We had merged my website design company. We had called IntelliSites. We had probably 500-600 clients at any time. We'd have 40 to 50 projects going on.
That's wild.
Yeah, we were a machine just constantly. And then we said, hey, let's merge into a marketing agency. So we weren't, doing the tactical stuff. So we could actually just be strategy and maybe also do the other things. The idea of the tactic isn't like you don't need a hammer for everything or a nail for whatever that analogy is.
Yeah.
Only with nails and hammers. And so we were all the above. So we created that business, and that's how you and I met, I think. Back then.
Yeah, it's back when I was at Sandler.
Yeah, right.
With Lorraine.
Lorraine Ferguson, yeah.
Yes, and you had Jennifer Hendricks.
That's right.
Hi, Jen. Was working for you. That's
right.
how I got introduced to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, just so many great people. So Jen was great. Yes, you remember we were Sandler. We were talking about Sandler. We were role playing every week.
Yeah.
And it was just like, all right, another Dave, me, Jen. So we were just brutal. It's more brutal in that room. So you're constantly learning, right? Yeah. And so it's you're learning what you don't know and you think you're good at, and you're not. Even if you're good at it, you got to get better. Yeah. Constantly. So we were struggling though. What happened was we had these great businesses separately, and we merged. And suddenly we wanted to go up market, and we were the machine of websites, and we're like, hey, we're this marketing agency. Like we wanted to work with big companies, and they're like, well, who are you? We're like, well, we've done all these smaller companies, which is bread and butter around here. The idea,
absolutely,
which was our mistake, really. You just say, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to be like BBDO in New York or something like that. What we're trying to do. So we had 30 some odd people, I don't know, a lot of people thinking we were doing this tactical stuff. We're trying to be strategy. And so that was not fun. So we had
That's like the hardest part of marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Like as I've been in an agency now for 10 years, and the strategy component is absolutely the hardest piece. Like trying to teach it, trying to scale it, because I understand it.
Right.
But that means I'm our only strategist.
Right.
And so like every time we bring on a new client, we got to feel like, all right, I guess I'm just sleeping less.
Just roll you out every time. What is the strategy?
For real. Time for strategy, roll out Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's hard to scale that, for sure.
Yeah.
You're like the Don Draper of...
Well, and in our current environment, I mean, things are changing so fast. I mean, as you well know in marketing, like it's always been a changing field,
Right.
right? Like even 10 years ago, I would say that I had to reinvent my business every 90 days. Right now, it's like week to week.
Wow.
It's like, it's just wild because of, specifically because of AI. Technology is changing so fast, what people can use AI to do and how it affects marketing. And like right now, like how it's affecting people's biggest strategy, which is Google search.
Right.
And so AI is completely disrupting that, changing the whole game on what you should be doing on social and websites and how search works now. And it's constantly changing.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Yeah. So how do you keep up with that?
I don't know that I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying, I do. It's interesting because I just had this conversation the other day with someone where I'm like, well, honestly, I'm like, I have to be engaged on all those platforms, even though I don't want to be.
Right.
So like, I hate social media, but I have to be engaged on social media and be using it to understand how it's changing, how it's affecting my clients, how it's affecting the marketing ecoscape, how it's affecting AI search specifically, and then doing research using AI specifically to do research on how to use AI. For like it's just such a wild thing, and so it's a lot of time spent learning. To your point,
right?
Of just constantly having to understand that I don't know anything, even though I know more than my team, I know more than my clients about certain aspects. There's certain things that my team does that I couldn't do anymore. You know, like I used to be.
It's a good thing, actually.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because they're way better at it too. For the record. My team's amazing. Taylor, that's listening to this or will be listening to this. Her and Kelsey and Rebecca and Chris. These guys are they're amazing at what they do. And but I have to constantly be looking forward at what's happening, what's changed. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of reading and research.
Yeah.
And
you imagine the pace of what we're doing now and how that continues to speed up. Does that change at all? Is that at some point the human mind can't handle that kind of stuff? Or are we getting to that inflection point at this point?
I don't know. We have to be because it's just moving so fast. I think everyone sees it, not just in marketing, but in every industry. Things are changing so rapidly, and systems have to be updated so frequently now.
Right.
Like, I know that we're a small company. Like, it's hard to keep up with all the things that you have to do. Like, as a business owner, I have to keep on top of what's changing in our industry, keep our clients in front of that. So, like, we started January 1st. We started getting our clients ready for AI search, which really is just like, you're looking at maybe 4 to 6% of the market has, the early adopters have changed. We'll be at 15% here in the next few months. By next year at this time, 30 or 40% of the market will be using AI as their first go-to for questions instead of going to Google the way we classically have. But not leaving that platform. Like right now, like I'm an early adopter typically, right? So I'll go to Grok or ChatGPT to start my learning. And I engage there for a bit, and then I will go to Google and I'll ask the same questions and see what search results are popping up. And so I'm still engaging on Google, but less than what I have been. But that is changing, and it's going to change for a lot of people where they won't even have to leave the preferred platform that they're on, whether that's Grok or ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever. So that's just wild and interesting. And then, but at the same time, that I also have to keep on top of my accounts receivable, my accounts payable, and I've got to go deliver newspapers because we have a paper, and I'm still our chief delivery boy. It feels like I'm 13 again. And
you get good tips though when you drop them.
I don't get tips anymore.
I know.
When I deliver. I used to when I was 12 and 13. It's great. Christmas. I used to love collection day. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But I feel like all of a sudden you're interviewing me for that.
No. We were having a chat around the table. This is good.
So tell me about how you ended up with EOS, though. So was it Burst to EOS, or was there something in between Burst and EOS?
No. Or? So what happened was we needed a turnaround in our business because we did all this stuff. We were like, hey, no longer what applied before applied. Yeah. And so we had growing the business. The revenue was great, and we were looking at like the business review, the whole book of lists. There it is. So like, what happened? So the problem is the other end of it. When your expenses also increase, kind of like the government, we couldn't print money, but there's that. Anyway, we found we were trying a different system, scaling up. These are called Rockefeller Habits at the time. Great system, but it was a little too complex for us. We're not that smart. I don't know. So we.
Well, you're in marketing. That's what, you know.
That's right. Exactly. We need pictures.
That's right. I tell people all the time, they'll like say, I'm like, I don't know, I'm a marketing guy. Why are you asking me that question?
Exactly. So we stumbled upon the book Traction. And so what this EOS is based on, and we started implementing that thing. And then in 6 months, it was like magic for our turnaround. And then we started making money again. And then my partner's like, hey, let's merge again. No. So what if we bought you out? Like, oh, that's a great idea, actually. So, it was a great exit. So what had happened was, end of 2014, they bought me out, and so I'm like sitting around watching Price is Right one day. It's like, wait, this doesn't work anymore.
Enjoying retirement.
It was. I was like, what do I didn't really all my life I had a plan, and then suddenly I was just like, this is fun. Making an exit. It's not life-changing exit, but it was changing exit. I guess what's the word I want to use.
It wasn't life-changing, but it definitely changed your life.
Very good.
Right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, CEO client friend, he's like, hey, can you bring that system you guys did? Can you come over and show that to us? And so I did, and they're like, oh, you need to implement this with us, or at least coach us, or whatever you call that. So I did, and loved it. And then he's referred me to 3 other. Wait a second! Suddenly I've got like 4 clients, 5 clients, 6. I just became an EOS implementer, and like, I guess this is my thing. So it's been 10 years. I've been all over the country. 850 sessions, they call that, when you meet with clients, and probably 90 different teams, different industries.
Wow.
Everything. People, I didn't know some of these kind of industries existed. I mean, I did, but you didn't know the inner workings of it.
It's wild what people do for money out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like every once in a while I hear about a business, I'm like, what do you do?
How do you get paid for this?
And I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like people, there's some really crazy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can monetize almost anything. The traditional stuff is can be monetized, but it's harder. The idea of like manufacturing. I just talked to a client. We call it graduated clients. When you not work with me, for example, or any EOS implementer for more than a certain amount of years.
Okay.
They stop. It's like any coach in football. At some point that the person's not changed, but the people they've heard it before, and so they need to either hear a different voice, or better yet, they get to implement it themselves. They actually know what they're doing now, and they have somebody internal who can facilitate the team.
Yeah.
So I talked to this client that graduated from me in 2021, in the Pittsburgh area, and they're a manufacturer, and it's like what the struggles they go through.
Yeah.
The ups and downs, and continued. It's the idea of what are you competing against? You're competing against, certainly local, not really just local, not national, international, and now the government, like all the tariff thing that's happening, and how you get parts, and like, wow, how do you continue
supply
to do
chains,
that? Yeah, in a company with 80 people, it's the town. It basically, I said the town, but it's a within that town, it's a component. It's not like you're in Pittsburgh.
Right.
It's outside of Pittsburgh in one of these little towns that relies on you.
Yeah.
You're 80 people plus their families of 4. It's 300 some odd people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, it's like the IP plants around here locally. Like Corinth, like that was the employer in Corinth, like that was the town, right?
Right.
Like so similar to that.
Yeah. So they feel the burden of that.
Yeah.
Too. It's like they are the owners. They're not some national company.
Yeah.
And so, but I find real joy in that kind of stuff. But it's kind of interesting to see the inner workings of that, like Kaizen kind of stuff, the 1% better stuff, and how they implemented that, and just some of the ideas that we'd had. I wasn't a Kaizen. I'm not a Lean Six Sigma guy.
Yep.
That idea. And there are people that do that operationally are amazing, right? They're focused on that, and that's not what I do. But when they do say, hey, what would it look like if we did that? Great question. Who do you know? Right. So what I've learned over time is EOS, what I do is facilitate, coach, and train people on the system. But I'm sometimes their coach, which means that, hey, what are you guys doing here? I got to call it out. And they actually pay me to do that. Like, I'm not seeing this. This is not right. Tell me why I think that way, which is this is a funny question to ask. Ask you why I feel that way. They do that.
Why do I feel like this?
Yeah. So why do I think this is weird? And so they'll answer the question. But ultimately, they use me so that I can facilitate them. They can be in the room, especially the owners. They don't have to facilitate themselves or dictate really what's going on with the team. They're like, hey guys, what are we thinking here? Is this buy-in? Is this consensus building, or is this a direction? Where are we at? What do you guys want to do here? Hey boss, owner, what are you thinking? Is this something you want full buy-in and everybody on the same page on, or are you just going to tell them you just want to dictate?
Yeah.
And sometimes they want to just dictate. No, we're going Walt Disney. I want this. I want that.
Yeah.
Get me this here. And sometimes it's like, I'm not sure. Hey, what do you guys think? Do we need somebody? And so when they bring in people, so I'm meandering here, but it's like the idea of like somebody that's not the expert, which is a good thing for facilitation because I can ask stupid questions because sometimes I actually don't know the answer, right?
Well, I would imagine there's value in that though because they're so invested in the system they've been doing and the way they've been doing it. It's hard for them to see like what a person that's not inside would see,
right?
Because you're objective and you don't have the attachment to how you've done that process for the last 10 years or like, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Why do I feel that way? Right?
So try it at home.
It'll work on your spouse.
Yeah, that's for once, maybe twice.
Maybe twice.
That's it.
So when you're working with organizations, and so help me understand now. So you mentioned manufacturers, so 80 employees. So does that mean that you can't work with 8 employees, or like what is it? What size businesses are you typically working with?
Yeah, no, I have a client with 4.
Okay.
I have a client with 500.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's you get bigger, so it can work with anything. So I'll just talk about the typical 10 to 250. But even in that, you think there's a difference between 10 and 250. I did this math one day and I was kind of bored. So what is my actual like median? Somewhere in the 40s. But I have very successful clients who are the 4 people were interesting because 2 of them at least are in the room with me. Got to be a leadership team. I don't work one-on-one. I'm not an executive coach. So it's got to be at least 2 people. And if there's 4, it's like the other 2 are, if they're physically together, the other 2 are looking in, should we be in there too? It's like, well, why not? Come on in. Like it feels like that. It's not really a leadership team. It's sort of like a flat organization. And then the bigger ones the bigger it gets, the more it's like, division of. So I worked with a local company in Saratoga that has multiple businesses essentially. They don't really see each other as often. It's 500 and some odd people, and it became like it's a division. It just wasn't really a leadership team at all. It's a group of not equals, whatever you want to call that, where it was more political, I guess, when you're in there. So sweet spot, I would say somewhere you need a team. You need a leadership team. My opinion is you need best leadership teams, 3 to 6.
Okay.
And then therefore the rest of the team has to be more than 3 to 6. But to get where you want to go, it's like, hey, I've got 3 people now. Here's where I'm at. Or I got 2 of us, and I want to get. These are the leaders I'm looking for next. If you said, hey, I don't want to do AR and AP or whatever you said, right?
Yep.
It's like I need to find my finance person, not just a bookkeeper, but I need to find somebody to do this stuff, and it's like going to own my office or whatever. Okay, cool. Is that a leader? Yes. I can see that they have 3 people. Good. Okay. What else do you need? Well, I'm not really good at sales. Oh, okay. Tell me more about this sales thing. Right? What doesn't matter? Marketing. Right? What you do. Some people will ignore marketing. They go, "Oh, the sales guy's got it." The sales guy is a sales guy, not a the whole.
People don't often understand.
I
always tell people that, like, when it comes to sales and marketing, that sales and marketing is a part of the same process, which is the get new clients process.
Right.
But there's a distinction between the 2 things, where marketing is any behavior you do that generates interest in your product or service. Sales is the part where you have already generated interest, and now you need to help your prospect or client discover if what you do is correct for them. That's the sales part, and then getting them to a decision. But there's definitely a line in the sand there that differentiates the 2 activities, marketing versus sales.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well said. My theory on some of this is, well, I'm the marketing guy, they say, because I started this business. People know me. I'm the brand. Okay, so tell me, what are you? So strategically, how are you different? Like you said, strategy is hard. They don't necessarily get it, or if they do, they don't have the tactical expertise to do any of it.
Yeah.
And so what you said about AI is interesting because AI can tell you stuff, and right now it's not attached to robotics, but
It's getting there, though.
yeah, I know. But you think about like, why would you need anyone for anything then, right? Because the idea of this is not that they're lazy, but they just don't, they can't make that first step, and or have the execution discipline, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to actually do it consistently, and also keep their saw sharpened to continually to do that. I think there's no, in my mind, there's no fear. Shouldn't be any fear in the short term for anything like like the things that can be done by AI per se. Could you get AI to look at your accounting and do your stuff? Yes, I'm sure they can. Right? I haven't figured it out, but
Yeah.
it's like, here's the taxes I should pay. Here's what I should pay. Here's what I should do. Here's this. I'll take this. This deduction here, whatever. Marketing, sales, like robocall, horrible.
Yeah.
But anything, the idea of like with the human, put the human in it, I think is still, it's going to be a while.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
In terms of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a journey.
Industry-wise, do you work? Is EOS better? Like you said, manufacturing, but
Yeah.
like is EOS better for a specific industry or?
No, it's agnostic.
Okay.
What I love about it is, for me, so 90 teams, I've had some concentration in some businesses because they'll refer me to people in the industry. They'll have some sort of accountability group, peer group kind of thing in that space. So marketing, I had a marketing background too. So it helped a little bit that I had marketing clients and had marketing background. Marketing, IT became a thing. They call them MSPs, managed service providers. They refer heavily within their industry, and so I've got a lot of clients there. I said I'd never get into law firms, but somehow I've had 3 of them, and each of them are very unique because it's a collection of individuals.
Yeah.
It's like a real estate firm. It's like they're all, they're basically out for themselves with a group of people behind them back at the office.
Yeah.
And so that's an interesting one. Manufacturing for sure. A lot of service-based businesses as well, just in terms of that kind of thing, or subsets. I think like one of them interesting one was this marketing agency specifically for targeted toward conservative people, politics essentially in New York City.
Yeah.
No, actually in Washington, and so they focused on that. And doing great.
Yeah.
It's like,
I bet they are.
Is that a thing?
A lot of money.
Constantly, it doesn't matter. So on that side of it, if they're winning or losing, they're still winning.
They're still winning. Yeah, still getting paid anyway.
That's right. If somebody's going to be, I think passion is the word that they would use, right?
Yeah.
They want to find passionate people. That's like any business does. Starbucks or whatever.
Is there like a specific set of symptoms that a business would have that would tell them that EOS is going to be a good answer for them?
Yeah. I think if you think about as an entrepreneur, right? So I work with entrepreneurs who want to get someplace that they're not yet there. And so take the typical that there's no vision. If there's no vision at all, which is possible, like the person just says, I got into this job and I wanted to have a good life and I was not employable the whole night. And here I am and what happened? And they actually want that question answered. I can't answer it for them, but I can help direct the question toward what is it that you really want to be? What do you want to be when you grow up? This is, that's what I tell people. I help entrepreneurs finally get what they wanted to be when they grow up.
Yeah.
And the leadership team. So the kind of struggles that they're having, the lack of clarity of that. There was a lack of the wrong people in the wrong seats. So that happens probably half the time.
A lot.
Yeah. You got somebody in that space that you hired and they were good, either grew or they didn't grow, but they're growing in the wrong way. They want either too much, it's got to be just right. What's that Goldilocks thing? Or they're just not a fit culturally, and you just hired the great person for that job because they're really good at X, and but they were a monster in comparison to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Maybe not a monster to some other company, but they were not a culture fit. So that's the second one. The lack of focus or discipline. I see that constantly. They're just, especially now with ADHD, whether they're, some doctors told them they have it or not, we're all that way.
Yeah.
This
Well,
way.
especially in the entrepreneur space, I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like every single entrepreneur is undiagnosed ADHD.
You
They're
have
just
to be.
all over the place. Shiny object there, shiny.
Yeah.
We can make money doing that. I know it's completely not congruent with what we're doing, but let's do it. We
It
can make
looks
money
like
doing
fun.
it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like fun.
It does. Let's do it. And then
Yeah.
it's not fun. And then they get bored and they want to do something different.
Yep.
So sometimes it's corralling, not the sheep, but the wolf in that case, right? And
Yeah.
so you got to, I see that happen a lot too. It's this lack of focus, I think, is not that they don't want to do it. They just don't trust it yet. It's not going fast enough for them. The other one that's fun is always like, hey, you can't escape your business. Well, what's going on? You are the business. Like if you go away, it goes away. Process is a word they like, for other people. And it's actually like freeing. Right?
Yeah.
So when we can share with people like, hey, what if you had a franchise model business to do what you're talking about here that happens the same and best way every time? What would that look like? And so, well, it's in my head. Okay, so let's get it out of your head.
Yeah.
And let's put this down and make it simple so it's not like a 400-page SOP. That is just easy checklist. Maybe some like 5 steps. What does that look like? And then we can train to it. And so it sounds easy because it is. Eventually it is. But getting that first part, those are really some big struggles, just frustrations, I guess.
Yep.
Between these people and trying to like, well, which one is all of the above, some of the above? What's the issue? I've worked with people who are not growing and people who were super fast, like Inc. 5000.
Yeah, just explosive growth.
Oh, yeah.
I always, when I see stories like that, I'm just like, how did you manage all that? Like, it's wild to me.
Yeah, and for a while they can. But if they can't have people that they trust, like what they call level 5 leaders, who's the, it wasn't Stephen Covey, one of the guys
Yeah.
talking about level 5 leaders.
I'm not sure who it was. But
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I'll go look at it later and I'll
I
call
know.
you.
Google it sometime.
That's right.
Or AI it. one of the
Yeah,
two.
yeah, but there's a couple books on level 5 leadership. The idea behind helping to build leaders of leaders, and so that concept of not just followers. People do your work because if you just tell them to do it, they're going to do it. It's great. You can delegate, but you got to be there
Yeah.
to delegate, and so that's one of the frustrations people will have too. Long answer.
No, that's good. We like long answers on podcasts. So tell me about how you. So the symptoms are what bring them in.
Yeah.
Right, and then I assume you must diagnose. Like, what is the process that you take your clients through? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. There's this first thing, it's called the organizational checkup that EOS does. It's 20 questions. It's really easy. It takes like 3 minutes. And it asks you questions like, we have the right people in the right seats and all the questions. I don't think they just brought up. So it asks you all these questions and 1 through 5. It's all subjective. But at the end of it, you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm rating a 50 out of 100 to yourself, right? What do you want to be? So the first part of that is looking at that and just kind of giving a general assessment. Do they feel like they're great or not? And the answer is they're giving themselves a 90. They don't need me, right? And if it's real. If they're giving themselves a 20, 1 out of 5 of 20 questions is the lowest possible score. I've had a couple clients like that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dysfunction, wrong people, unhealthy culture, everything. And so it's a lot of work. And so...
Do you ever see those? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
do you ever see those companies just ask yourself, like, how are they even in business right now?
And I see them locally, and I know they exist. I see them, and they're on the best places to work sometimes, and I'm like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Is it because they're asking their team to like answer it this way?
Right.
What is going?
They're standing over him with a gun, like, hey,
That's right.
check that box.
Yeah, some of these companies. It's just I don't get it. I don't get it. There's got to be a desire to not only to change and to grow. You want growth, but you also have to have the humility, and you got to be curious.
Yeah.
I think as some of those things and being open to suggestion, but basically have a little humility in life.
Yeah.
It's like this wasn't just you didn't just happen to be so awesome. You were
Right.
Somebody in your life has helped you be awesome and helped you to grow and do all those kind of things. And it's like your team around you might be those people now.
Yeah.
And so that's always fun.
So organizational checkup.
Yeah,
And,
so-
and then what comes next?
So what comes
I
next?
interrupted.
No, this is good. I lost track of thought. So
It's okay.
I'll do that.
That's my job, man. Keep us on point.
I appreciate it.
I try.
So the first step with somebody like me, so you have a conversation, right? So it's a simple, stupid thing. But ultimately, the leadership team. So what's a little different than I would work with let's say you, and you go, hey, I got all these people. Let's just start with Dave, and I show up one day and like, who's Dave? The way it works is that the leadership team has what we call a 90-minute meeting. So it's actually a physical term. We call it the 90-minute meeting. Shockingly, it takes about 90 minutes. And it
That
really,
is a bit of a shocker.
exactly. It's very, it's original.
Very aptly named.
Yeah. So the idea behind that is you share what the tools are. You share what EOS is supposed to help them do. So there's that. And then you share them the tool. Here's the actual tools. You can do it yourself. Here's the process you would go through. Feel free to use me, the questions and things like you'll have about the back and forth between that. So that's in 90 minutes. And with that, they could decide, don't work with somebody like me or me, like EOS, but not me, or they can like it, whatever, or they like the thing, but they don't want to pay for it. So cool. That's a book called Traction, and give them one of those, and let me know if you need help. I'm glad to chat with you about it, even if you're not my client. So there's a actual core value we call help first, and so if you don't pay me, that's okay. That's weird, but the idea of like if you sit down with me and you say, hey, I'm going to do this thing on my own, but I have a question or 5. Could I call you sometime? Yeah, let's have lunch. Call me up, whatever. So let's do it. If I can help you do that, the world's a better place. Yeah. Period. So
do you think that because I've read Traction, I don't know, a dozen times, and listened to the audiobook as well. I love it. For the record, I mean, it's an amazing book. I think Gino Wickman is obviously brilliant.
Yeah.
That the whole system I think is amazing, and I have tried to self-implement EOS, and to a point maybe.
Yeah.
But my business is still a mess, for the record. But but that's the point, right? Is do you find with those people that the difference between knowledge and application of that knowledge, they really do they need a Dave Borland to bring them through that process?
Yeah, it's a percentage of people. It's kind of you got the workout videos. If they still have workout videos or not, but
I don't know if they do.
Yeah, watch them.
Like the Gene Simmons. Was it Gene Simmons, or is that the Kiss guy?
Hey, it's a Kiss guy. I know you're thinking.
What was the little?
The other Simmons, the ladies. What was his name? Yeah,
the curly hair.
Yeah, the little guy.
Oh, anyway.
He'll come to us.
Yeah.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons, not Gene Simmons. Sorry to all
cousin.
you Kiss fans out there.
That's right. But watching those things is it's hard to. I think the thing about most people is the discipline to do it. If you had a personal trainer, if you go to a gym and the people know you're coming, all those things, you're like what you do, right? So when you're going out working out, just show up. I feel like it one day. They're like, hey, where are you, man?
Yeah.
Why aren't you here? Get your butt down here. Let's spar, whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same idea with me. I have actually become their accountability partner for a bit. You need to get into that habit of just discipline, I guess is the word for it. But creating a habit doesn't just happen. You got to have somebody.
Well, it's easy to put it off. That's what we've done in the past, where we started doing IDS and having our 90-minute meetings and doing the whole thing, and it was just but then we'd get busy and we'd have to firefight and it would get pushed off. We'd skip it this week and we'd skip it the next week
and
then skip it the next week, and then 6 months goes by and it's we haven't made any traction on what we're trying to do, and things are still a mess. So but the people who can do it internally have that person inside that's the whip cracker person. It's if it's all you and you're like, hey, I am the visionary and the integrator. We call that term the integrator, the person kind of COO, whatever, running it. If they're both and they're more visionary based in their heads and they're all ADHD, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You need that person to be like, no, hold on. We said this. Yep.
Are we doing yes or no? Every great Walt Disney had his brother Roy.
Yep.
Right. That idea. There's so many people out there that just you can see. Who the one person is, but they always have somebody behind them going, "Hey, you can be the face of the organization, but you're going to face this nation right now, brother. You get to sit down." Yeah. And so that's it. So I think it's probably 10 to 1. People who either attempt or do self. I'm not sure success rate of anything. But
Right.
even when they're implementing with an implementer, it's not like suddenly magic and roses. You've got to, there's times when I'm not, or any coach is not there, right? And so like any other discipline, any sport, if they say, hey, you're going to come in next week and you're going to do this, even if they train every day, Michael Jordan, threw an extra, every day, right? 500 more. He's going to do that. The greats do that. When do you find time? You just do. You just find time. Ultimately, it's up to the person that says, if you know your self-discipline is where it's lacking, if you're honest with yourself, where is that? And do you need somebody like me for a time? Either one time. That's the beauty of what we do too. So we just, not a sales pitch. The idea behind what you ask, well, how we do it, right? So they say yes or no or whatever. If they say yes, we start these days. And typically it's a 2-year journey, but it's in probably 10 to 12 sessions total of that time. If we're full day with the leadership team, the leadership team had to have said yes in the first place. That 90 minutes with the leadership team, not just with the owner. And so they're like, yeah, we have buy-in here. Let's do it. And then you start meeting. In the beginning, it's not say intense, but kind of intense. There's 3 days spread, each spread by 30 days. So day 1, day 31, day 61. And then 90 days. You just get into a 90-day rhythm. And that's the session days. That's the full days with everybody. And between that, there's times where you have somebody like me in. I'll either be at a level 10, I'll do the level 10, I'll facilitate it. I will, you have a question, an email, you call me, you do whatever, smoke signal. Like we have a struggle here, help us out a little bit. But it's not the days are meant to be strategic. So what's happened, what's working, what's not, what do we want next? Are we doing it, yes or no? Get it buy-in, what are we doing? Go. And so that idea behind that kind of stuff it's that. And so some people will say, I've had clients who said, Dave, we got this after 3 sessions. They're like, we got the strategy and we did that first 3 days. It's all cool, we're good. I've had some people who said they're self-implementing. They said, I just need you for 1 day. I just want to see what we're doing right and wrong, and then we got it from here. And then some people, I've got a client with 7 years, they will not release me. I was like, come on, you people.
They won't let me go.
Yeah, that's right. I actually say those words. I'm like, am I free at some point to graduate? Or
that's funny.
Am I old enough? They're like, nope, you cannot. You need your facilitation. I'm like, I'm just drinking your coffee. What are you talking about? I'm getting here in a nice conference room and having a great lunch and people I love. But have I said something new today? They're like, yeah, every time. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but please let me know next time.
I mean, I'm kind of in their camp. I feel like, coaching, it helps you see the things that you don't see. Like it's when you're in it and you're subjective, it's so hard to see like what's actually you think is going right, but it's actually broken. And having that outside voice or eyeballs, it's like, that's not emotionally invested. They're not in the system, and they can just be like, why does that sound weird to me?
Yeah.
To add, just asking those questions, I think is super valuable.
Yeah.
And plus, us entrepreneurs, we tend to have a bit of an ego, and we always think that, I can do it. I don't need I don't need help, But it's like, but we do. We do need help.
It's something, at least for a period.
Yeah.
But
7 years.
So many. Exactly.
I love it. Good for them.
Yeah.
So, what are the kind of things that so they have these symptoms, and to just put a broad label on it, right? There's just things that are not the way they would like to be in the business, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the owner's quality of life because they're working 100-hour work weeks, or maybe it's, unhappy clients because there's no process or processes are broken, whatever it is. They come in, they go through this process with you, a year or 2 years, and then what is it that at the end of this, what does it look like for them?
Yeah, they have they first have a shared vision.
Okay.
So the right people in the right seats. So that can take some time, where they have the right people means culture, by the way, right? So it's this idea of what is the culture you say you have, right? And so what do you bring to the table? What do you want your kids to be? All that stuff. That's there, and the team knows it, and the team is looking actively to make sure we continue to do that on their own, that type of thing. And the right seats is this idea of, if you think about how many roles you do every day, you talked about you're the paper boy, you're this, you're that, right? everything in those is like, it's your card. If you have a business card, it says one thing, but that's just the title.
Chief Cook and Bottle Washer.
Yeah, does it actually say that?
No,
You should.
if I had a card, which I still rely on the old Sandler trick of not carrying cards, but if I had a card, that's what it would say, is
That's
Chief
good.
Cook and Bottle Washer. I should actually change that on the website, guys.
You should.
Yeah.
There you go. So there it is.
That's my title.
Done. So what was I saying though about? So people. So when is it? What happens at 2 years? 1 or 2 years when they start to get it. So right people, right seats, fit like a glove, that kind of thing. We know it. We have shared a vision. We have a shared vision. We know what to do and where and what we're doing to get there. And then healthy. What's a cohesive team? Cohesive, not just core value fits, but we know what to do and how to do it. The process is like franchise model. The idea of like, hey, you know what? Every time we bring in a client, here's how the onboarding process works. The client knows that onboarding process. Like Subway, we walk in to get a sub.
Yeah.
The customer knows what to do. Right?
Yeah.
That's gold, right? And the people behind the counter, everyone does it, and everywhere we go, the same amount of turkey, the same amount of whatever, the same bread, the same smell, everything's the same. It's not like I just do it differently because I'm some sort of artist. And so you think about any company that says, yeah, but we're an artist company, we do things differently every time. Yes, but even in that business, you have standardization of stuff. You say, hey, you bring a new client in, here's how we do it, here's how we get paid, here's how we do everything. Like all the detail, and then it's not detail because they've tried to make it detail. Ultimately, they figure out a way to say, hey, we don't need an SOP of 700 pages. We just need to make this, the term we use is 20-80, not 80-20. But you do 20% of the work to get 80% of the way there and call it good. Like make a checklist and go.
Yeah.
And then you'll 20-80 the next part. So the next section. So we'll get down to the detail, but over time, but it's you don't have time for that time, if you know what I mean.
Well, I know that, like, having tried to build processes on paper before, like, you can easily end up with a document that is monstrous.
Yeah.
And it's unusable.
Right.
Like,
No one will ever use it.
No one's going to look at it. It becomes dizzying the minute they look at the first page because it's just lines of text that are giving you every single dot to dot and every T to cross the whole way through. And then it doesn't happen.
Right. I remember in the marketing world when we did this, we would, you bid, right? So we call it, somebody sent an RFP and you'd have to make a pitch, right?
Yeah.
The idea. And so what do you do in a pitch? You basically give away, you spend hundreds of hours to give away your best ideas.
Yeah.
That's got out of the world.
Because we don't do them.
Right.
We legit, like, I think 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, no more RFPs, not doing it.
Yep.
And so people,
Perfect.
We get legit, I don't know, half dozen RFPs every single month. And every time, like, appreciate your consideration.
Yep.
As a policy, we do not answer RFPs.
Right.
And, like, very happy to bring you through our sales process and see if we can work together or not. But, like, to your point, like, it is so expensive to answer RFPs.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling that people still do them.
Yeah. So exactly that example. You just did it, and you did it in your head, and you're like, well, when do we even consider something like this? And so we made it down to a 4-point checklist instead of all the details and everything. It was just, I still remember this, I think. Let's see if I can remember this now. Which was, do we know them? Right? And so we have to be, that's one thing. Second one is, can we do what they're asking for? Which is, sometimes you're like, oh, we can sort of do this, and we're not TV people. We're never TV people. If they ask for TV, say specific things, like, no, can't do it. Can we farm it out? Yeah, but we start doing that whole thing.
Yeah.
Nope. Third one, do they have a budget that they'll share with us? Right. And the fourth one is, do they have a ton of bidders or just 3 or less? And the answer is, so they all had to be positive for us.
Yeah.
If all 4 were not positive, we made an agreement not to bid, even if it was a friend of ours, but they didn't give us the budget. So sorry.
Yeah.
You got to give us the budget. No, that's not how it works. We know you have a budget in mind.
Yeah.
Right? So you're not going to spend $1 billion. You're not that kind of company. Is it $10? Is it $100? You have to tell us that. Well, if they don't have the trust, we didn't do it. We did not lose at that point. Like you said, you stop doing the things.
Yeah.
Sometimes that actually gains you because you can now you can spend that time someplace else.
Well, the opportunity cost of, to your point, if there's 100 hours on that RFP, what could you be spending that 100 hours that's actually making you money, as opposed to that bid that you're never going to get?
Right.
Like,
doing great client work for the clients you have already.
Yeah.
What if you did that? Right. It's like, and they're going to refer you, and you're going to ask for referrals in a way that hopefully makes sense.
Yeah.
And all those little things about doesn't need to be checked. It's just got to be a checklist, not an SOP. And if you need a detail on how, you think about like airline pilots, right? They don't have the how-to every time they fly. They just have a checklist. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to know where the flaps are, right? They're supposed to know how to set the brakes. It just says set brakes. Did you check the brakes? Oh, yeah, I got to do that. What's that mean? I don't know. 400 pages of how to check brakes in a 737. I have no idea. Don't need to know, but if I did know and have training, that's different than the checklist. And so ultimately, what I love about people and think about that as into the system, it's like if we're trying to scale this, is it scaling on a single human, or can we multiply that human, that Jeff Bezos concept throughout the world? Even if our world is only going to be, I say only, but it sounds like a literal lot to people, but like $10-20 million versus $10 billion or $10 trillion. I don't know. Where are we at now? But still scaling past the single human is not possible. At some point, you've got to say, it can't just be me, right? And so that's what I love about this system is like they get their time back, their freedom of actually taking a vacation. And so that's my metric. Hey, how many weeks, if you were to take a week off, what happens? And they're like, I call in, or I still check my email. How often are we talking about texts? You still on? Are you still really on? Just not physically here?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, that kind of is true. I'll take a couple hours off in the morning, like, because I like it. Do you? Do you really like it? Or are you just saying that?
That's why we were talking. I go up to our camp, and there's no cell signal up there. So it's I don't even have a choice.
Yeah, right.
But it does, like, there's times when I'll be up there and I start getting a little itchy and anxious where I'm just like, oh, man. And I know that I'm going to come back to hundreds of emails and text messages and phone calls. And it's just like.
Yeah, because you know it's there, right?
I'm paying for it.
Yeah. And the thing of some people, though, it's like that time, it's just a matter of like, do you love it? Like, I assume that Warren Buffett loves what he does. He never takes vacations. And that's cool. Do that if that's really who you are. I mean, if you really just love what you do and that you just die if you're not doing it every second of the day, go for it. But if you're like, I don't want it, but I don't have time. I don't want to be in the business every second. I need to actually decompress, but I can't. That's what this is supposed to be before.
That sounds amazing.
Pretty amazing.
The decompressing sounds amazing.
That's right.
I bet a lot of you can relate. Well, it's just such a common thing for small business owners. I mean, legitimately. I know so many small business owners and entrepreneurs, and I know all of them are just like I am with, really take a vacation.
Yeah.
And like every once in a while you do, but you end up paying for that vacation in some fashion when you get back.
Yeah.
Or before you leave. Like I know even just for me to go away for 5 days, it's a ton of work to get myself ready to go. Yeah. So I have to work twice as hard the 10 days before I leave. And then when I get back, I'm going to work twice as hard again for another 10 days to get caught up. Yeah. And so then it's like I almost have like, not PTSD, but it's like I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like thinking about vacation now almost to get like a stress response thinking about it because I'm like, oh God, time off. I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm going to work twice as hard for 4 weeks. Right. It's like, holy moly, just for a few days off.
I call it the fallacy. It's a parting of the Red Sea. Yeah. It's not my original phrase, but it's the idea of like you think exactly what you described, that you're just spending too much time at both ends. And then in the middle where you're actually walking through the Red Sea, you're still checking in. You're still not completely deep, you're not completely out of it. And the idea of you're still spending the same amount of time, but you just dispersed it differently.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's like, what if you could spend 10 minutes less time? That book, Atomic Habits, you ever read that?
No.
James Clear, and it's the aggregation of marginal gains. This is the concept behind this thing, 1% better thing. Comes from this guy, Dave Brailsford. He was the coach of the cycling team, British cycling team back in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, like 2003 through 17 or something. They went from nothing to winning zero anything ever to winning like 6 or 5 or 6 world Tour de France's, world championships, gold medals, just crazy numbers. Because of the aggregation of marginal gains, which is 1% better. If you could save 10 minutes of your day, save 10 minutes of your day. Imagine just saving 10 minutes times 5. So 50 minutes, right? And you did take, quote, 2 weeks off. So let's pretend that actually happened. So for 50 weeks is 2,500 minutes. If you do that math, that's 41 hours a year. or 10 minutes of something, I'm going to stop doing this, or I'm going to until I can do something else.
Yeah.
Or I just stop doing a period, like you reduce the RFP thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so 10 minutes. Oh, I got more 10-minute things. Holy crap, they're everywhere. Right.
They are everywhere.
Yeah. 10 minutes is 41 hours. You take a vacation. Right. So that's why I say look for your 10 minutes of stuff. You're like, what is that 10-minute thing? Where am I on my email? Looking at all these personal emails. Can I separate the personal emails? Can I just unsubscribe from 400 places that I might look at, and that saves me 10 minutes a day? I could try to have an executive assistant. Can I get my marketing to somebody else? Right? Oh, does that save me 10 minutes?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
that's
can.
right. It's way more than 10 minutes of value, right?
Absolutely.
That kind of thing is like, it's not a cost. People, all this investment cost thing, right? But your freedom, this time of like, I don't have to spend this drama time or this whatever time.
Yeah.
I don't need to drive here for this. I know I can do that. You're constantly looking at. But anyway, the idea of that book, Atomic Habits.
I'm going to have to read that because I've been having those thoughts recently of looking at the way I'm structuring my days and the things that I'm not able to do during the day. And I'm like, how can I get these things done? And it's like, there's the, it's Pareto.
Yeah.
80-20 rule,
Yep.
but he has the Pareto efficiency. So Pareto efficiencies, he talks about the fact that like there's 24 hours in the day. You're going to spend 8 of them sleeping. So now you've got 16. And then you're going to spend 1 of those showering and brushing your teeth and doing the morning. So now you've got 15. And then you start to look at, like, you start taking all these things that you have to do every single day, and then looking at the amount of time that you're left with, and then looking at like, well, how much time, like, how do I want to spend that time?
Oh, brilliant.
And then you look at how you're actually spending that time, freaking binging shows on Netflix or whatever the hell it is, and it's like, oh my God, there's, out of the 6 hours a day I actually get to do things, I'm spending 4 of them on stupid shit.
Right.
And like, so how do I reallocate? So I've actually been trying to do that recently, where I'm like looking at my morning routine, which I love my morning routine, but I'm losing 2 hours in the morning to it. So it's like, all right, well, what can I take away, or what can I remove at the end of the, trying to, same thing, but I got to read that book.
Yeah, Atomic Habits, yep. It's good. It's a good one. The other one's Essentialism, Greg McEwen.
Okay.
And The One Thing by Gary Keller.
I actually have that book. I'm like halfway through it right now.
Yeah. Well, all 3 of those books are if you just use any one of the things that they talk about.
It's funny though. I'm reading The One Thing, and it pisses me off though, because we do so many things in my company, and this book is basically telling me not to stop doing it all. I'm like, no, I got to do all those things.
How dare you? Yeah, it's so true.
What do you mean? No, I don't want to listen to you, but you're probably right. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. What's one thing less that maybe not the whole thing? Yeah.
It is. I am really enjoying that book though, because it is like helping me do things like our messaging and just looking at how we're structuring our products and how we can like simplify it and like do the same things, but also by doing less.
Right.
Because I think as a small company, as we're growing and coming up from when it was just me to then hiring someone and then so on and so on and so on, like there's that time, I think all businesses do it, where you try to be everything to everyone. Yeah. And so you end up doing all this different stuff.
Right.
And some of it you're really good at, and some of it you're probably not really good at and probably shouldn't be doing. And one of the things that book has really been helping me look at is like, all right, like you're doing too many things. You need to eliminate some of them. What are the things that you're great at? What are the things that you shouldn't be doing? Right. And so we have started to like simplify and eliminate and do less so that we can do more.
Yeah. That's exactly what he talks about in that book. Yeah. Yeah. It was one thing, if we stop doing it, everything becomes easier or unnecessary. Yeah. I can't remember if it's essentialism or maybe The One Thing. He talks about that's the one.
It sounds like The One Thing.
Yeah, that's the word.
I mean, they're all those books. I mean, you read all the books, right?
That's right.
And they're all kind of saying the same thing.
They do.
But I still haven't figured it out. I'm like, maybe I'm just not that. I'm in marketing, so
you guys do it too.
Things take me a little longer.
It's all right. Yeah.
It's hilarious. I know we're getting close on time. If you're going to tell our listeners and viewers like one thing about EOS, what would it be?
Yeah. Well, if you want freedom, I think we're going to talk about freedom. I think if you're an entrepreneur and you said, "Hey, I want what I think I want what I want," and what you want is not just freedom of money, but freedom of time, relationships, and purpose. Consider even looking get the book Traction. Call me. Find an EOS Implementer near you. Yeah. just start, I guess is the word I'll be looking at. Be curious about what it would look like, and my visual of that, is more like this. If you look at your phone, and you look at your phone lock screen, there's a photo on it, probably somebody in your family, some place you've been, that historically happened. Imagine 3 years from now, the picture in your head historically happened. Like you're there looking at it, 2027, whatever, 3 years from now. And you're looking back, that happened. If you're looking for that, you're not getting there. And nothing's changed, nothing's changing, right? Nothing's changing at all, then nothing's going to change, likely.
Yeah.
Right? And so EOS will help you in a simplified way, not to complexify this thing, if that's a word, to get what you want. I know, it sounds like George Bush. Strategy. so complexify. So we're going to simplify that. That's the idea behind it. Simplify it. Simplify your vision and share that vision with people and get the right people around you so you can have freedom.
Yeah. I will say, too, and I did say it, but I'll say it again. Traction is an amazing book.
Yeah.
It's easy to read, not just because they don't use big words, but like it's just easy to read. But it tells like a good story, and it's just very digestible, I think, for most people. It's not complex, which I appreciate. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah. Anybody listening, watching, if you want a free Traction book, I buy them. I don't get discounts from Gino. He doesn't.
Come on, Gino.
I know, right? But I will I just love to give that thing out and see people's lives changed.
Yeah.
If they, whether they use me or not, I'll send them one. So you just tell them, and I'll get it to them. No strings, no call.
All right. Well, if you want a free book, how do people get in touch with you?
That's a great question. A couple ways to do this. One is so my website, growexceptional.com, is there. They can also email me, if you can remember all this, dave.borland@eosworldwide.com. Is an easy way to do that. You can go on the EOS Worldwide website and look for me, Dave Borland. You can just Google me. Probably chances are you'll find me quickly. Anywhere you can see. What did I miss? Smoke signal.
Do you have a Telegram? No. Social? Are you on any of the social medias? Do you do that?
I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's right. Easy to LinkedIn. Yeah, Dave Borland. You'll find me there. Happy to connect. Phone number 518-928-1265.
Nice. Do you have a Google business profile?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Someone needs to set me up.
I know. I mean, I'd say I know a good marketing company, but with your background, you probably don't need it.
You'd think I would have done that.
Google business, still huge. Still a huge asset to the marketing community. Thanks for coming out to the farm, man.
Yeah,
really
my pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is a blast.
Yeah, I always love to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And someday I'll do something.
Yeah, you could be an implementer.
You know, it's funny. I did think about it at one point in time because there was a few years where I had a small business consulting agency that I worked with, like, 1 and 2 shop people that were trying to figure out how to scale, and and mainly it was just going in and working on their sales and marketing, so they had the revenue to support what they were trying to do, but process building.
Yep.
Because I'm really good as a coach, I'm just bad at doing it for myself.
Yeah.
Which is like a lot of people. But,
yeah.
But I thought about jumping on the EOS train at one point in time. But
all EOS implementers should have been a business owner at some point. Yeah. Most of them.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think anyone in the coaching space or consulting space, like, you should have done what it is that you're trying to help these people do.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just reading off a book and saying it's yours.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling to me that happens, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, and I want to say it's Andy Frisella. I don't know if you're familiar with Andy Frisella or not, but he owns a First Form, which is like a huge supplement company. And he's got a podcast, Real AF.
Yeah.
But he had talked about it a lot, and some of the other people on the show talked about it a lot too. Is like, don't ever take advice from someone who hasn't done what you're trying to do.
Right.
And I agree. It's crazy to me that people will listen to in any industry, not just business, but like could be nutrition. It could be anything.
Right.
You listen to someone that hasn't done what you're trying to do, and they're going to tell you how to do it. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
About that.
Here's what you should eat. Yeah, the nutritionist thing is funny.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow, that's a big man saying those words. Like, literally.
Legitimately, I've
Yeah.
seen that happen. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I agree. Yeah. Take advice from people that have done it.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, my
Appreciate
pleasure.
the show. Absolutely.
Mike.
Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks, of course, to all of our community partners for helping make this show and our publication possible. Without you, there is no Buying Local. And, of course, you guys will hear us next week, every week for that matter. And you can find us on Spotify, Apple, Rumble, and YouTube. Share the show. Thanks.